Hi, I'm Shoshana Polakoff. I'm an alum of West Coast NCSY, NCSY summer programs, and New York NCSY regional staff. I was listening to a shir by Rabbi Ephraim Goldberg of the Boca Raton Synagogue, and this piece really stuck with me. At the end of the first Aliyah in Parshat Eikev, we talk a lot about food. And it starts out with Moshe telling us that should we keep the mitzvos, we'll be rewarded with life, children, and the inheritance of Eretz Yisrael. He tells us to remember the 40 years in the desert and the challenges and the miracles that came with it. Specifically, we should remember the man and the fact that our clothing didn't wear out, and that at the end of 40 years of walking in the desert, our feet did not swell. Then Moshe says, "V'shamarta es mitzvos Hashem Elokecha laleches bedrachav v'lira oso," that we should keep the mitzvos of Hashem our God, walk in His ways, and to fear Him. And why should we do this? Because we're about to come into a good land, a land with streams of water, underground springs. And then the Torah says specifically, it's a land where we will eat bread without poverty. Then we're given the mitzvah of benching, of thanking God after we eat bread. And the pasuk says, "V'achalta v'savata u'verachta es Hashem Elokecha al ha'aretz hatova asher nasan lach," that we will eat and we will be satisfied and we will bless Hashem our God for the good land that He gave us. And a few psukim later, Moshe gives us a little bit of a reason as to why we bench, so that we don't come to say, "Kochi ve'otzem yadi asa li es hachayil hazeh," that it's my strength and the might of my hand that gave me this wealth. So we have a couple of questions. Number one is, really, why are we benching? Why is benching here? And what does it mean that Eretz Yisrael is a land without poverty? Because we know that unfortunately poverty does exist in Eretz Yisrael. So we see something very similar at the end of benching itself, with the words "Nar hayisi v'gam zakanti v'lo ra'isi tzadik nezav v'zaro mevakesh lachem." That David HaMelech in Tehillim says, "I was young and now I am old, and I have never seen a righteous man forsaken or his children begging for bread." We also know that that's not true, because unfortunately righteous people do suffer. So Rev Lord Jonathan Sachs quotes Rav Soloveitchik saying that the word ra'isi here doesn't mean seen, but rather we should translate it the way that it's used in Megillas Esther, where Esther says, "Ve'echacha uchal ra'isi ba'avdan moladasi." How can I stand idly by and watch the destruction of my people? So here we see ra'isi doesn't mean seen, but rather to sit passively and not intervene. So David HaMelech isn't saying, "I've never seen anybody righteous suffer," but rather, "I've never stood by and watched it. I've always tried to help." And that here is the lesson of benching and how we can fulfill the mitzvah of laleches bedrachav, that we eat and we recognize that Hashem has helped us. And at the end of benching, we remind ourselves, yes, that Hashem helped us, and now it's our turn to help others. And that's how we can fulfill the mitzvah of laleches bedrachav.